Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner. This is episode number 198, Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine. The classic 1965 film starring Vincent Price. We'll see how this goes, folks. Oh, God. With me tonight to discuss this classic is my friend, my co-host, and he's the one and only Mr. Ross Amico. Ross, welcome.
Thank you, Roy. And belated happy birthday.
Thanks, Ross. I appreciate it.
For those who don't know, Roy had his birthday yesterday. So you're all caught up now.
I'm all caught up, Ross.
We're the same age.
We are the same age. We are in alignment again. Heinz 57, pass it. Oh, shoot. Ross, how the heck are we 57?
I don't know, Roy.
I
guess downhill from here.
Yeah. I guess it's better than the alternative, but I'm still trying to digest it, and I'm still trying to comprehend it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all good. It's all good.
Well, you had a good day though, right? Yeah, good.
I was just gonna say, it's funny. I don't know if it was in the making of Star Trek or the world of Star Trek. It was one of those two books, but I remember reading under the bios, and this is back when we were kids. And I was reading about William Shatner, and they said, the author wrote that Star Trek with Star Trek, the role of Captain Kirk is portrayed by Canadian actor 38-year-old William Shatner. And I thought, 38? Oh my God. That's old. Oh, shoot. That's nothing. And that always stuck with me. And I was just like, wow. So anyway, Here we are.
There was some kind of national poll recently where they were asking people when folks were officially old. I guess they must have asked a bunch of young people, but 57 was the mean. So we're now elderly.
Oh, so we're elderly now.
Yes. Yeah. So maybe I should start using that. Yeah, they're always asking me at the grocery store if I get a senior discount. So maybe I should start taking them up on it.
Get the AARP card out, Ross. Here we come. Oh, and incidentally, William Shatner was only 34, 35, 36, and 37 when he was in Star Trek, by the
way. Yeah.
So.
Well, he's even younger now. Somehow. What is he, 92? Something like that?
90, God bless him.
93, something?
Yeah, he is 92 years old.
92.
Yeah, he's 92 years old. He is amazing.
He's younger now than he was in the 60s.
I don't know how he does it. I mean, yeah, he's something. I think it's one of those things where he's afraid to slow down, because if he does, you know what I mean? It's just, and you know what? More power to him. I mean, he's doing a lot better than some people that are like our age.
To rest is to rust.
Yeah. So don't just stop in one place and just keep on moving, It's like Frank Gorshin said when he was doing the convention. Vince and I saw him, and it was at a creation convention in New York City, and he was talking about wearing the Riddler outfit, and he said the key was just to keep moving, don't let anybody see anything. Can you tell, Ross, that I'm actually like stalling to talk about this movie?
Hey, I brought up the birthday, but I did that out of courtesy. Well, let's get one thing straight, folks. Roy's suggestion was the Flesh Eaters. And I was not about to do the Flesh Eaters. It was a beach movie, admittedly. But, it's one of these early landmark of gore movies. And I didn't want to really do that. So, and we had discussed doing this at some point. And I threw
it. You know what, Ross? I had a surprise. I had a surprise for you.
Well, it is your birthday. Yeah.
So, folks, whatever we said about the Bikini movie, Captain Goldfoot and the Bikini movie, the Bikini Machine, it just went out the window. We're going to do the Flesh Eaters.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was one of those Herschel Gordon Lewis movies, but it wasn't. But it has, some pretty graphic violence for the time.
For the time, Ross, I hate to say it, but the stuff that is on network television now is probably more horrific than what was actually in the Flesh Eaters.
But even today, I watched a little bit of it. It was just unpleasant. So I'm glad we're doing this.
Well, you watched the Flesh Eaters?
I watched a little bit of it.
There's one scene in that movie that actually stands out. That's probably the goriest. Now you got to remember, the last time I saw the Flesh Eaters was probably back in the 1970s. It was on Channel 5, WNEW TV out of New York City. It was, and I think I was at my grandparents', and I remember the whole thing on the beach taking place, and there's like this glowing, and it's black and white, which adds to the mystique. But there's this glowing effect, and then of course you've got, the couple that's together. Then you've got the extraneous guest stars or characters that are the assistants, and then you've got the evil mad scientist, and I can't even think of the actor that played him. But anyway,
he's Dr. Goldfoot.
Yeah, Dr. Goldfoot. And he's hell-bent on coming up with this, and I can't even remember because I didn't research this or anything. I'm just going by memory. But he's aware of what's in the water, and what he does is, I remember he puts that into a drink, and then one of the guys drinks it, and then he starts screaming. And I think that's probably the goriest part of that movie, if I remember correctly. Is that the scene you're referring to?
Yeah, there was all kinds of stuff when I was flipping through it. Yeah, I'm not into it right now. Thanks, Roy.
Enjoy your drink, boss.
Not my kind of thing. There's plenty of flesh in this movie. I'm more into
that. Susan Hart, Ross.
It's interesting because everybody knows about, it's like Barbenheimer weekend. Everybody's going to see Barbie, and then Oppenheimer is this kind of ad hoc double feature.
Yep.
And this movie kind of plays into that. Oddly, I didn't plan it like that, but you got the whole thing with the fashion with the gold lame bikinis. And then you've got the fact that the bikinis were named after the Bikini Atoll, where the atomic testing took place in the Pacific Ocean. So
there's your tie-in.
There's your tie-in. Yes.
There's your tie. There's your tie-dye tie-in.
Yeah. So all roads lead to Barbenheimer.
Go figure. A product of the times, Ross.
Yeah. And no matter what you thought of this movie, it's still better than Indiana Jones.
Oh shoot! There goes the other shoe. Folks, the other shoe just dropped. So Ross, what did you think of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny?
For another time, yeah, you can end the show and not tell me, and I'll just go on for 6 hours. Yeah.
I want to welcome our viewers out there. Ken Hutchins is joining us. He says, I need a martini stirred, not shaken. Gin very dry with a twist. Martin is joining us from New York. Welcome, Martin. Kind of saying maybe 3. Christian is joining us from Canada. Hey, Roy and Ross. Ross, I heard you are guilty for this one. Yeah, he is. Ken's saying, my birthday was yesterday, and 57 seems such a long time ago. Ken, really? Yesterday was your birthday? Happy birthday, Ken.
So we're all like July babies.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Jeff Rubel's in the house. Jeff is joining us from out west. Welcome, Jeff. Jeff is saying, oh, you're in your 50s. You're still pups. Ken is also saying, Shatner went into space. That's why he's younger. There you go. Yeah, well, actually, he came back very humble from the whole experience. I mean, listening to him in interviews and everything talk about that, he really walked away being affected in a positive way. Christian saying, no worries, Roy. I wish you a happy birthday yesterday. I will turn 62 next month. Yeah, see, you're young too, Christian.
It's right around the corner, Roy.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Lou. Lou is joining us on YouTube. Good to see you out there, Lou. I was talking to Lou earlier tonight. Great to see you out there, Lou. Thanks. Claudia Combs is out there. Claudia, welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for being out there. And Bill is out there. Bill Scarrato. Hey, Bill. Thanks for joining us tonight. And I was talking about this movie with Bill just a few days ago, too. Yeah.
I don't know what I said, but thanks.
And Christian is saying a remake of Fat Man and a Little Boy. Well said, Ross. So anyway.
I don't know what I said, but okay, thank you.
Yeah, there you go. You know, watching this film, Ross, I have to say, maybe this was the inspiration to Buck Henry and Mel Brooks for coming up with Get Smart. That's my positive takeaway about this movie.
Well, I mean, the super spy stuff was very definitely in at this time.
Oh, sure.
You know, with the parodies and stuff. James Bond was so big and still fresh, new. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I get well, Goldfinger is and the Casino Royale was already the comic spin on it, but you had so many. I mean, we did the In Like Flint. Was that the one we did, or we do the other one?
We did. I think we did both of them, but the first Flint movie was in 1966, so that actually came a year later. After.
I mean, there were all kinds of, and of course, it had to influence in part Mike Myers with the Austin Powers movies. There's no way he didn't see and love this movie.
Oh no! I mean, the fembots and everything.
I mean, how can you? The thing is, just I'm watching this thing, you know, and I'm kind of like half falling asleep at first, and it's like, you know, it's like one of these movies where it's undemanding, but you know, you get into kind of the silly groove with it. You know, it's the kind of movie that used to be on a Sunday afternoon,
right?
You know, when you're kind of drowsing on the couch.
Oh, Ken Hutchins is saying, I thought there wasn't to be any Indiana Jones spoiler alert. That was about 3 weeks ago, Ken, and
it's old news now.
It's all old news.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it.
We're not going to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah, the movie spoils it quite effectively itself. Yeah.
Ross was just offering his opinion of what he thought of the movie, not giving any anything away. So
yeah, even though it objectively sucks.
Jeff Ribble saying this movie is better than Indy.
Oh, I see.
Oh my god. Oh man. You just hit a low. It's not that bad.
It's that bad. Well, let's just say this movie made a lot more sense than the Indiana Jones movie. But okay.
All right. You know what? Since we're going down that rabbit hole, and I'm not going to give anything away. But I am going to say this. The only thing I can say about Indiana Jones is, because I did see it on that Thursday, as everybody knows that was here when we discussed it on Friday, which, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark and everything before that, before the fifth movie. That movie, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, left me feeling depressed.
Me too. That was actually the very words out of my mouth. It was the most depressing thing I've seen in a while. Maybe not for the same reason. I was just depressed by the ineptitude, though, more than anything that was in the movie.
It was not and I think you and I talked about this, and I think you used the comment. And again, not giving anything away. This is just we're
not going to give anything away.
Right. This is just how it impacted us. We didn't feel, and tell me if I'm speaking for you correctly too, Ross. Okay. I didn't feel that the movie was fun. I believe
no. That the one thing it is not, and I'm astonished going through, because I'm reading other people's comments online, and some people actually did think it was fun, and I didn't find any fun at all in the movie. There was zero fun in the Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah. So what you may consider to be fun, you may find the movie to be fun. Yeah. So just, it's to each his own, but having loved Raiders, having hated the second film, having very much enjoyed the third film, and feeling that the first one definitely was fun, the third one was in that ballpark, and the second one, well, I just hate that movie, but that's besides the point.
Dial of Destiny made Kingdom of the Crystal Skull seem like Raiders of the Lost Ark. To give you an idea.
Yeah. So, anyway, we are going to leave it at that.
You can let me know what you think later.
Yeah. Feel free to message Ross or I'm sure the Hague will be blowing up your I am any moment now. Oh, speaking of the Hague,
there he is.
Strange thing, I kept thinking Adam West and Burt Ward were going to show
Oh,
up.
absolutely. In this movie. Yeah. And in fact, in the sequel, there was a what was it? The Bikini Bomb? Dr. Goldfoot, the Bikini Bomb, is that what it was?
Not to be confused with the 1980 film The Nude Bomb.
The Nude Bomb. The Bikini Bombs, plural. Yeah. They did what's the word I'm trying to think of? It went into the whole Batman, when they're throwing the punches, they did the identical kind of design with in an homage.
The biffs, the band.
Yeah. It kind of
the overlays.
Yeah, it kind of devolved into that. So, but yeah, it very definitely had a Batman feel. I mean, it was camp. It was total camp, and there was. It's not one of these things where where they played it straight and we take it as camp later. It was totally played as camp. Well, it's Vincent Price. I mean, come on, is there a campier actor of that era?
Well, that's just it. You cannot go wrong with Vincent Price. I mean, whether you like this movie or if you despise it or if you just think it's pure silliness or you just think that, oh my God, I don't want to sit through this. Anything that Vincent Price has done is just fun. I mean, he just had a way about him, and even right up to the end, I mean, he just was that type of character actor. It really worked for him. I mean, come on. Do you remember back in 1974, fifth season of the Brady Bunch when they went to Hawaii? You remember that he was in that?
Taboo. Exactly.
It worked.
Vincent Price will do anything for the money. It's true.
That sounds like a quote that Mike said on the page.
Yeah. No, he'll do anything. He would do anything for money. But just having him on board made the movie.
Absolutely.
There aren't very many other actors where you would sit through that if Vincent Price weren't in it.
Excuse me.
I have to say though, I thought Frankie Avalon did he actually doing so many of these stupid beach movies, he plays that kind of part very well.
He did,
for a singer, so he's not going to get any Olivier awards or anything. He's not going to be playing Shakespeare anytime soon. But for the kind of comedy that this was, he did a respectable job, I thought.
Well, that's this whole thing with this film. You can't take this film seriously. It is a product of the times. It's, chauvinistic and whatever. So right away, if you have anything, this is 1965 that this came out. So don't be offended.
It's right up front. I mean, come on, Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine. I mean, what are they? I mean, the exploitation is right there. And American International Pictures, who put this out. I mean, they made the entire. I mean, every one of their films was like an exploitation film. I mean, they were all horror movies and beach party movies. So, I mean, what are you expecting? And the funny thing, though, I found out not long before I went on, the idea was actually a woman that came up with it. It was Ruth Polagi. She was the head of the AIP delivery or publicity department. And she's the one that actually came up with the idea to do I don't know if she just came up with the title or came up with the idea for the movie, but so there you go. It was dreamt up by a woman.
There you go.
But it was the mid '60s, and anything went. I mean, come on, this is the decade of the bikini. I mean, you had Ursula Andress and Dr. No, and you had Raquel Welch and in 1 million years BC or whatever it was called in the fur bikini.
We still have not covered that, Ross.
Yeah, well, the bikini didn't cover much either, but it was the iconic the iconic poster that everybody had. Yeah.
Did you know that William Asher was supposed to direct this movie originally?
No, I didn't.
And he went later on to do Bewitched.
Oh, yeah? Well, the guy they did get to direct it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he was married to Elizabeth Montgomery.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Norman Turog is the guy who did direct it. And he actually won an Academy Award for Best Director back in 1931.
This movie.
No. For a film called Skippy, which had the young Jackie Cooper in it. And I've never watched the movie because it has kind of a rough. There's some animal abuse in the plot, and I just never wanted to subject myself to that, even though I think it turns out okay. but maybe not for the animal. But the but anyway, he won an Oscar for this tearjerker with Jackie Cooper back in 31. But by the time this came along in the 50s, he was doing Jerry Lewis movies, and around this time he was doing all Elvis movies. So that's the speed. That's what we're dealing with here. It's the 60s.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Vincent Price, I think, indicated that there were some extra scenes that were in this movie where he was singing, and they were cut, and he really was kind of like bummed about it because he really felt that it would have added to the fun of the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you got a couple of things there where the women were dancing in their bikinis, But yeah, apparently they had a lot more of that, but they probably wanted to keep it down under 90 minutes.
Right.
Unlike Indiana Jones, that goes on for an interminable 2 hours and 35 minutes for no damned reason.
It all comes back. All roads lead back to Indiana Jones, folks. It's not Star Trek tonight, folks. It's Indiana Jones. Oh, boy. Martin commented, too. I just had it up here. He was saying that he thought that the fifth movie was better. Yeah, here it is. Indy 5 is better than Indy 4.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't happen to agree with it, but I'm glad you liked it.
Matt's out there. Hey, Matt, thanks for joining us. Goodbye, Dr. Goldfoot, wherever you
are. Yeah. So the songs that they cut out of this thing, just a lot of footage. That's all I need. Yeah. So they cut out a lot of the songs they cut out of it. They put some of them. There was a television special that came on like 2 weeks later or something, like less than 2 weeks later, to promote the movie, and it was another Dr. Goldfoot story. And they took the songs that they took out of the movie and put it in the television special. But instead of having Frankie Avalon, they had what's his name, the guy from the Disney movies, Tommy Kirk was the lead in the TV special. They still had Susan Hart in it, and Harvey Lembeck, who has
cameo.
He always plays Eric Von Zipper in the Beach Party movies, and he has a cameo in this movie. He actually plays Hugo in the TV special. So, and that was it Dr. Goldfoot and it was the Wild Weird World of Dr. Goldfoot. So, and that was supposed to drum up some interest in this movie. And I have to say, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, interesting enough, this movie did very well in Italy.
And that's funny because the sequel was produced in Italy.
Mario Bava.
Mario Bava directed it, our good friend from Planet of the Vampires. Yep. Another great favorite.
Quality is coming through, Ross. The quality is coming through.
He went on to do a lot of horror classics, but hey, I like that movie.
I like that movie too. I mean, what was the other name for it? The Devil Planet. That was the other name.
Devil Planet, yeah.
I always watched that movie at the same spot growing up as a kid, but I enjoyed that film.
Yeah.
As cheesy as it was.
Yeah. So and there was a sequel. We were saying there was a sequel to this that was done in Italy, and the only person who reprises his role is Vincent Price, of course.
Of course.
But it's the Italian sequel was also a sequel to another Italian film that spoofed Goldfinger. So it was also a sequel to this, and it was a sequel to the Italian film. The Italians were notorious for this stuff, though. I know I've talked about this before. If anything made money, they would start cranking out, that's how the spaghetti Western took off, and the Hercules movies in the 60s, right. 50s and 60s. They just run them into the ground. Yeah. If they made, and the horror movies too. If it made money, let's just keep doing them. And even if the movie has nothing to do with like Django or whatever, if he's making money, we'll put Django on all the Westerns. And people go and they think they're going to see a Django movie, and he's not in the movie. But it's like kitsching. Like Star Crash was another one of those things. The guy who did Star Crash did a bunch of, kind of hack exploitation things that made a lot of money.
How can we forget that movie, Ross?
Another one I liked.
Hey, Liz is joining us from the UK. Liz, welcome. Good to see you out there, Liz. Hope you're doing well.
Hi, Liz.
Colin is also out there. Colin Curlis. Welcome, Colin. Joining us from the UK. And is that the Dutch?
Absolutely. Between this and Indiana Jones.
There you
Django
go.
and the Crystal Skull.
Christian saying Mario Bava and AIP, a good combination, especially for him. Hey, Eva's out there. Eva, welcome. Good to see you out there, Eva. And thank you, Eva. Yes, I did. It was a very good day yesterday. We actually went down to the shore. We went to the Jersey Shore. It was really, really nice.
You saw some dolphins.
We did see some dolphins. Actually, Sherry picked them out first. And I didn't see them, and then they were very apparent. And then I was trying to do some videoing, and were you able to see them in the video that I shared?
No, I couldn't see it.
Couldn't see it.
But my screen might be too dirty. I never clean my computer. So.
Let me tell you something. I really want to go parasailing. I mean, I was supposed to do that when I turned 50, and I didn't do it.
Oh, parasailing?
Yeah, because they have the boat out there, and then they pretty much just raise you up.
I told you my parasailing story, right?
Wow.
Where I don't know. I was at some island. I can't remember if I was in if it was Paradise Island or Puerto Rico. I don't know where the hell I was, but anyway.
Paradise Island with Diana Prince. Is that what you were talking
that was it. That was it. I was with Diana Prince on Paradise Island. I am an Amazon. It's true. Anyway, somebody got up there and a thunderstorm whipped up, and it was such a violent storm they didn't want to try to reel them in because they were afraid that the cord would snap. So the person had to stay up there the whole time. So we all went to the bamboo bar. We're all drinking, watching this guy getting tossed around in the clouds up there, lightning everywhere.
While the storm is going on, this is good. They didn't bring him in.
Yeah. And I can't remember if it's the same the same trip or not, but I went out to do that. They went out onto the floating dock or what have you, and I was on deck, and the guy in front of me, they tried to take off with him. He just wiped out so horribly. And I said, I'm going back. I'm not doing this. He's basically dragged him.
Oh.
Yeah, so God. I said, I think I'll pass on this. I don't need to do this. So anyway, that's my. See, we're going to get an hour and a half out of this movie. Right?
Hey, Jeff Curley's joining us from Texas. Welcome, Jeff. And Jeff's seen a lot of movies too. He said, "Here's a movie that I've never heard of."
Yeah,
this was a Ross pick, Jeff. Just for the record,
I'm proud of it.
Martin's saying Fast and the Furious Django. Yeah. Liz is saying parasailing is great. I did it many years ago. Yeah. So anyway, it's on the list. I'm gonna try to. I actually am gonna do that before I turn the big 6-0.
All right. I'll drink in the bamboo bar while you're.
Yeah. I'm almost afraid to have you there, Ross.
Jostled in the clouds. Yeah.
Fun times.
I was a lot younger then too, so.
So was the guy okay when all was said and done?
Yeah, I think he was probably a little shaken up, but yeah. Shaken but not stirred.
I knew you would say that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so like you were saying about Frankie Avalon, the way he portrays the character in this movie, there are some shades of let's say, I don't know. I was not quite with Maxwell Smart, but he's kind of like the bumbling agent. And what was it, 0.5% as far as his title?
Right, it was 00 and a half or something.
Yeah,
but he gets busted down to 00 and a quarter. And he can't carry a gun until he gets the number, though. He can't be a fraction.
Right.
Yeah. It's funny because even if it wasn't a James Bond parody, which it was supposed to be, it was a lot more in common, I think, with the Beach movies and the Vincent Price movies. Than we had some of the spy stuff going on. But I was thinking between Vincent Price and Hugo, Jack Mulaney.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of I don't know if you ever saw The Great Race with Jack Lemmon and Peter Falk.
A long time ago.
Yeah, it kind of had like the villains where they had the slapstick shenanigans.
Yes.
And their interplay was like that, although nowhere near on that level. I was kind of thinking it was like a Blake Edwards thing, but it only wished it was Blake Edwards. Because Blake Edwards did the big race, and of course he did the Clouseau movies, which, in their way, had did kind of parallel some of the super spy stuff, even though he's only a detective. By the time he gets to, by the time Herbert Lom, Inspector Dreyfus goes mad and he has that disintegrator ray or whatever. when the series completely jumps the shark and becomes gloriously leaps into the sublime, then it's kind of like the super spy stuff, I guess.
I do love the Clouseau movies. Excuse me.
I think that one's my favorite of them all. This is so wacky. What are you watching, Roy? Are you watching the beginning of the movie?
No, that's somebody actually racing on our street now. Drag racing. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I thought it was the movie.
No.
Because the movie starts out like that.
Yeah, somebody literally just went by doing that.
Yeah, and by the way, it's better than any of the chases in Indiana Jones.
Oh, man. Jeff is saying Jethro Bodine, secret agent.
Jethro Bodine.
Ken is saying, run, buddy, run. If only Blake Edwards did Dial of Destiny. So, Roy, didn't Rudy Jernreich invent the bikini? There's our Space 1999 tie-in. Very good, Claudia. But actually, it was a special type of bikini. It was the what was it? It was oh my god, I'm trying to remember.
For Space 1999, or
no, he didn't. He designed the uniforms in Space 1999 for the first season. In fact, he's credited for doing that during Space 1999.
It was back in the 40s, and 46 is when the bikinis that's when they say it was invented. There were a couple of French designers. It was Jacques Heim, who didn't really get a lot of credit for it, but this Louis Rayard was the one that called it the bikini.
Right.
Heim called it the atom. So I guess they were all thinking the same thing.
He actually, Rudy Jernreich designed the monokini. That's what it was.
The monokini.
Yeah.
All right. Do you wear it between your eyebrows? Like a monobrow?
No, there was no transparent bra, and it was a topless monokini. But
in Space 1999, this was?
No.
I was going to say, I should watch the show.
Yeah, there you go. You should watch the show anyway, Ross.
I should. The sequel to this Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine, by the way, at the end of the credits, it said, stay tuned for coming soon. It was The Girl in the Glass Bikini, which was never made. Yeah. And they've done that a lot of times with movies where they'll say, stay tuned for, the future adventure of. Didn't they do that at the end of Buckaroo Banzai? They definitely did it at the end of Sword and the Sorcerer, I remember. I don't know if you ever saw that movie. With Lee Horsley as Talon.
Yes. And again, a long time ago and only once.
Yeah. But, they'd say, stay tuned for Talon's next adventure. And it never came out. It never came out. Never came out. And then like 35 years later, I happened to Google it. And it's like, oh my God, it's coming out next month. But they didn't have a budget. And it was supposed to be really bad. And he's hardly in it. So I didn't watch it. I think it's like Tales of an Ancient Empire or something. It's supposed to be a really awful movie. Not in a good way. Yeah.
Jeff commented, he said, yes, at the end of Buckaroo Banzai. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope they don't make the sequels now. Yeah, they should have done them then. Yeah. Right. The Crime League. Right.
Hey, Don Bethman's joining us from Delaware. Don, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you out there. And by the way, Claudia says you should, Ross, and that's a reference to watching Space 1999.
Yeah. Why would you do that to me? I'd be like little Alex at the end of Clockwork Orange. I'd have my eyes propped open.
Christian is saying Christian Dior made Patrick Meany clothes for John Steed in The Avenger.
Mm-hmm. You share a birthday with Diana Rigg.
Yes, I did.
There you go.
Yeah, July 20th. Yeah, in fact, that was one of the on my Facebook page. I was putting up images, and some people were asking about that, and that was the reason for Diana Rigg. Sadly, and this is the Star Trek connection with that, James Doohan passed away on my birthday, which was Scotty passed away on July 20th, 2005. Which is he's been gone 18 years already. And it's really, it's funny. I remember going up to Dorney Park. I was meeting up with Ryan, my son, and that's when the news came through, and I saw that, and I was like, oh. I was thinking of all things on my birthday. And the interesting thing is, and here's a Trek tie-in too, production of Where No Man Has Gone Before actually started on July 19th of 1965. That's why I put the image of that on. So literally, he was alive for almost 40 years to the day, and as far as his, with Trek, and now he's almost gone 20 years already. It's just it's insane.
Now, did you see recently that they're, I mean, this is probably old news, but they're going to take his remains to space, or some of them?
Yeah, I'd heard about that. Yeah.
And Roddenberry's also.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember reading about talk of that. Yeah. So many people. I mean, not to go down a rabbit hole of depression here, but Tony Bennett passing today. They released that news. Just I know he was in his 90s, but anyway, let's get back on track.
He had a good run.
Yeah.
He was something like 90, 96, 97.
Yeah, I think so.
And he only retired 2 years ago. So
yeah, no, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of long runs and as far as acting credentials, Vincent Price, wasn't the last thing that he did, wasn't it the Thriller video or his involvement in the Thriller?
It wasn't the last thing he did, but he did.
No. You know what it was? It was with...
he was in Edward Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands, yes.
Yeah, and he was in a movie called Whales of August, The Whales of August. I'm not sure which was his last film, though. That was with, Lillian Gish and somebody else. It wasn't Betty Davis, was it? It was somebody else from the the old days that was in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
the Hague is busting chops.
Go from Goldfoot to dead people. Well, Vincent Price he would have approved, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. Remains to the orbit of the sun. Yeah.
Christian is saying, I remember I had a Christian Dior T-shirt once, my favorite ever.
Okay.
And Matt is agreeing about Edward Scissorhands. So yeah.
Okay.
Now, speaking of, let's throw some slides up. Let's present, and we will share this. Actually, you can see the image of Vincent Price in the center, and then of course you can see the bikini machines in the background.
Yeah, I actually think that might be a still from the sequel, but I'm not sure. It could have been staged for this, but I don't think that's Hugo in the back.
Yeah, it doesn't look like him. You're right.
Yeah,
it still works.
I'm not sure. It all works. It's all Dr. Goldfoot.
It's Dr. Goldfoot.
We're only watching for him anyway.
Yeah,
and the gold Lembeck bikinis. Yeah.
So
Susan Hart, you pass Susan Hart there on the right.
Yeah.
Who was actually married to who's a James H. Nicholson, who was one of the
he was the president of
American International Pictures. Yeah. I must say though, she sold her part too. I mean, she played it well.
She did. She did. She was very convincing.
All of them, all the leads went whole hog. There were no half measures.
Well, you know what? They played it straight, and even though it was silliness, so it worked for what it was. It worked.
Well, in the shtick, I mean, come on, her getting pumped full of the bullets, and then she takes a drink, and all the
milk comes out.
The milk shoots out the bullet holes, and then she's fine. It's like, all right. Yeah, I mean, all the gags are telegraphed. There's nothing subtle about the movie.
No.
Nothing particularly. It's not an intellectual movie.
by no means.
But it's really fun. Yeah.
But what's interesting though, Ross? Talking about AIP and everything in the movies, they did a lot of sci-fi films.
Yeah.
And she actually wound up owning them because her husband had passed. But some of the films that they did were It Conquered the World, Invasion of the Saucermen, if you remember that one.
Oh, of course, that's the one with the needles that would come out of their hands, and you can only get rid of them with the headlights. Yeah.
The Eye Creatures. I Was a Teenage Frankenstein. I Was a Teenage Werewolf. That was the Michael Landon movie, I think, where he got his start.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember The Amazing Colossal Man?
Oh, of course, yeah.
That was another one that I saw. I remember seeing part of that at my grandparents. That one stuck with me. There was a couple scenes. But
so that one was also American International?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be a good one to cover, by the way.
Yeah, any of those, yeah. Yeah, I mean, going into this thing, I guess they did do some kind of straight, B movies, science fiction B movies. But coming into this, they had done, I don't know, like 6 or 7 beach movies. And Vincent Price had already done virtually all of the Edgar Allan Poe cycle for American International. So it was kind of just a natural crossover kind of project for them to just call in everybody's favors for this movie. Okay, all right, we employed you for 5 movies. Now come and do Dr. Goldfoot.
You got to do this film.
You got to do this film. And as if this one weren't bad enough, there was another movie. I don't know if you know this. There was another movie that came out. I think it was like the next year. It was Ghost in the Invisible Bikini in 1966.
Are you serious?
Absolutely serious, and it's even more over the top than this one. I mean, it's more beach party than this one. They've got the total beach party vibe going, but it's in a haunted house, and Boris Karloff and Basil Rathbone are in it.
Ross, I'm sensing a theme. Maybe for the theme of summer and the theme of bikinis. Maybe we should do maybe we should do that movie.
There'd be a crossover with Mike and Mary Beth, maybe. Hey guys, come on over for Ghost in the Invisible Bikini. But Susan Hart is in it again. She plays the ghost, of course.
Oh, that's so funny.
And Deborah Wally, who's the date, Frankie Avalon's date in the restaurant at the beginning, who storms out, is the lead, the female lead opposite Tommy Kirk.
Oh, she's the female lead in this movie.
Yeah, in the Ghost in the Invisible Bikini.
That's hysterical.
Susan Hart's the actual ghost,
right?
But anyway, so all of these guys, they just kind of shifted around, and they were in the different beach party movies. And when they got tired of doing beach movies, they would do things like Ski Party. They would do it in the wintertime. Oh, what do they do when it's not, when it's cold? Oh, it's a ski party, of course.
A movie for all seasons, Ross.
Yeah, it's the same cast basically. I mean, both Frankie Avalon and Dwayne Hickman were in Ski Party right before this. And
of course, when I think of Dwayne Hickman, I think of The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis.
Oh, right. Yeah, with Bob Denver.
Yep. Miley. What was his name? Krebs. Oh my God.
It was not Dobie Gillis. It was
Miley B. Krebs or something like that. Was Bob Denver's character's name?
Okay.
I can't think of it on the top of my head. Hey, I want to welcome Deborah. Deborah's out there. She's saying better late than never, and she's joining us on YouTube channel. Thanks for being out there, Deborah.
Hi.
Good to see you out there. Thank you, Ken. Yes, Maynard G. Krebs.
Exactly. There it is. That sounds familiar.
Claudia's asking, how invisible is the bikini?
And the glass bikini and yeah, American International, I must say, they were always good at bait and switch. They would always put something in the title or on the poster that would never come to fruition in the movie, but they get you to buy the ticket.
There you go. Deborah's saying Zelda. It's all about the ticket, Ross.
It still is, yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. So.
Yeah, Maynard. There we go.
So let me.
We're starting over.
We're starting over.
Just for Deborah.
I'll try this again. There we go. All right, there we go. So there's Vincent Price.
All right.
Dr. Goldfoot himself.
From the end credits. Yeah.
From the end credits. And then you had Frankie Avalon. Craig Gamble.
Now, apparently, for some reason, the character names in this movie were taken from Ski Party except Frankie Avalon played Todd Armstrong and Dwayne Hickman played Craig Gamble in the ski movie. Why they did it, nobody knows. It was just like kind of an in joke. In fact, I think this whole movie was just an AIP in joke because the audience isn't laughing, but I think they had a great time making it.
Yeah, I think they had fun making it. And didn't they make this with a budget of $1 million? I think too.
Yes, it was the most expensive AIP movie to this
So
point.
they had fun spending money and making this movie.
Yeah, and Vincent Price got to redo his Pit and the Pendulum shtick.
Mm-hmm.
And you had that banquet scene, which was actually kind of funny. It was, it's better than Temple of Doom.
You had to bring that up, Ross.
Again, Temple of Doom was like Citizen Kane next to Dial of Destiny.
Temple of Crap. I really hate that movie.
The Dial of Detritus. Yeah.
And there's Dwayne Hickman.
There he is.
And then, of course, Susan Hart is Diane. Jack Mahoney. He did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I saw he did a lot of
television credits, as well as film. The movies that he did. Absent-Minded Professor is one thing. He was in South Pacific. Also, he did. I think he did a lot of theater too. He died at a very young age, though. He was only like 52 years old when he passed. He passed from a stroke.
Oh,
but
I didn't know that. There seems to be kind of a. There almost seems to be. I know there's not, but there's like a little bit of a Disney. I mean, he was in. You just said the. What was the movie you said? The Absent-Minded Professor.
Absent-Minded Professor.
Yeah, I mean, there was like a little bit of a Disney vibe to it. Maybe it's just the whole '60s thing.
Sure.
The madcap chase at the end. I mean, it was like, how many Disney movies have we seen that have wrapped up like that? I mean, even Freaky Friday.
It was just very, very zany. Very
zany. Yeah.
But that type of direction, that type of filmmaking, that type of storytelling, especially with the comedies, seemed to be very prevalent at that time. I mean, I was not a big fan of that type of silliness. I mean, I can laugh and my dad and Ryan and I are going to cover. We just have to coordinate our schedules, but we're going to do It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. And that movie, you talk about the chase and everything. I mean, that's in the heart of it. I mean, that's 1963, 60th anniversary. Yeah. I mean, I love that movie. It's just a fun movie, but it's a lot of that type of happening going on in that film. But it works. It works. But I guess if it depends on how it's delivered. And when you have an all-star cast like that, it really comes through as being entertaining, I guess.
And on top of everything else, the film is shot in San Francisco, so it's unavoidable with a car chase that you think of Steve McQueen in Bullet. And a lot of the same, you see a lot of the same streets in this movie.
Yeah.
But I couldn't help but think that in just a few years, McQueen would be tearing it up.
Yeah.
Without the back projection.
Right, which was very evident. I loved it when he was driving. He had that one scene where he was driving in reverse.
Right.
It's so bad. Oh my god, it's so bad. But talking about Jack Mahoney, he was actually born in Pennsylvania too, Ross. He was born in Pittsburgh, and he did 2 Elvis films back in the day.
Well, also, there you go. So Norman Turog probably called him in, because he was doing the Elvis movies. Yeah,
this is for Bill that's out there too. He did the film South Pacific, and the character that he played in that was the professor, and that's a Rodgers and Hammerstein musical.
Right. Right. What's his name was in it too? Ray Walston was in it, wasn't he?
I think so. Now that you're
South Pacific.
That.
Yeah. So.
Yes, I think he was. Now that you're mentioning that. Yep.
Yeah. And we didn't mention that.
Mitzi Gaynor,
right. We didn't mention that the title design for the film was done by Art Clokey of Gumby fame.
Wow, that's right. You were a big Gumby fan back in the day, weren't you?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I thought so.
I don't know if I was a big Gumby fan, but I appreciated Gumby. Oh, because I had that giant Gumby in my room. Is that
Yeah.
why? You remember
Yeah.
that?
I do remember that.
Yeah, that was made for me by a girlfriend. Yeah. It's a handmade Gumby.
Who shall remain nameless until Matt
Well,
types her name in.
I don't want to say me. But she's not watching, but she knows who she is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like a 3-4 foot Gumby I had that she made me. Yeah.
By the way, I honestly do remember that. That's why I was putting emphasis on that. Matt is saying echoes of Dean.
Absolutely. Dean Jones could have been in this. Yeah.
Thanks, Linda. Linda's joining us from Canada. Welcome, Linda. Good to see you out there, and thanks for the birthday wishes. Much appreciated. Thanks, Deborah. I said laughter was going to get me through this movie, Deborah. So.
The theme song, Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine, was sung by the Supremes over the Art Cloaky animation at the beginning. So already we're overqualified. We've got Art Cloaky and the Supremes.
I know, what a build-up, right, Ross?
I must say it wasn't Art Cloaky's most interesting animation, though. It was just a bunch of heads and the flippers.
I mean, you got the cast, you got the music.
Right.
You got the title credits. You think this would be an Oscar winner for sure. What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Don is saying I prefer Mad World.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. I mean, Vince is Vincent Price slumming, but that's what makes it kind of fun.
Yeah.
Got me
that.
Yeah.
I knew it. Colin drink. Yeah. That's why I've lightened up. Oh boy.
And
so
then,
anyway, go ahead, Ross.
No, I was just thinking, and I know I brought this up before in the past for some reason, probably on another Vincent Price show, but he was also an art collector, which I think is part of the reason that he did these things just for the money, because then he could go and buy all the paintings and all the gourmet food that he wanted, because he was a gourmet cook and an art collector. And back in '77, Carrie Fisher was the host on Saturday Night Live. And I don't know if anybody remembered this or not, but they did a parody of these AIP pictures where they brought the beach party and Vincent Price together. And Dan Aykroyd was Vincent Price with a cigarette holder. And he kept wandering into they were all doing this shimmy and everything in their bikinis. And Dan Aykroyd would wander in with the cigarette holder as Vincent Price and then talk about the ribs he's cooking. And
I did not see that.
I cannot find the video anywhere online. If anybody can find this,
that would be a start.
I would appreciate, if you messaged me with it, because I don't know what it is about the rights. Sometimes you can find the Saturday Night Live skits, sometimes you can't. But I'll never forget that. Oh, because they were dancing, and the song was Obi-Wan Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And there's Carrie Fisher with the Princess Leia, sticky bun hairdo in the bikini.
In the bikini.
Yeah, wearing the bikini. Yeah.
Hey, Sherry's out there. Hey, hon. Thanks for joining.
Hi.
She had a doctor's appointment. I hope everything went okay at the doctor's, the chiropractor. Well, actually, yeah. Linda's saying, anyone know why it might be that the comments are not showing up at the end, and how I might fix it? Thanks.
At this end. Is that on the where is she? Is she on the YouTube or
Facebook? I'm not sure, Linda.
Are you just getting a blank bubble at the bottom, blank balloon, or are you not getting anything? I wonder.
Yeah, they should be there. Don is asking, wonder if Price kept any of his portraits in Goldfoot. Yeah,
I think these were taken from another film, weren't they, or no?
I'm not sure. Those were really good paintings, though.
Yeah. They might have lifted those from another Price film, because there was one where I remember he had the portraits of his ancestors or something. And
that was probably from Oh my God.
Not House of Usher. Or,
Yes, I was going to say from the fall.
Yeah,
yes,
it could be. I have to go back and watch these movies. Yeah.
Martin Landau actually did the fall of the House of Usher. He played what was it, Roderick Rusher?
Roderick. Yeah.
Yeah, he did
Huh.
that.
Is it online?
I actually saw that years ago. I'm not sure if it's available.
I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, I mean, anything Martin Landau did was really good. Even when he subjected himself to those B movies in the late 70s and early 80s. Matt said, "What could possibly go wrong?" Exactly what act.
All right. Okay.
Before watching the dailies from Nothing But Trouble.
All right. Nothing But Trouble is the one movie I can think of that's worse than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
It always comes back.
So, Matt, thank you for thinking of a movie that may be even more depressed than the latest Indiana Jones movie.
Claudia is saying she loved Vincent on. I do remember him on there too. Now that you're saying that, Claudia, I do remember him being on there. Yeah.
Now, I posted about this show yesterday on my Facebook page, and I put some links at the bottom. I don't know if you got to watch any of those. There's an interview he did with John Day, I think the guy's name is. He's a journalist who interviewed a lot of well-known, very big names from the 20th century and all the different arts. But Vincent's fabulous. I mean, he talks for a half hour about every facet of his career and what have you, and he just sits there and talks, and he's smoking a cigarette. So here's a guy who can clearly express himself. He's intelligent. He's not like a Hollywood creation kind of thing. This is he's cultivated, articulate. You know
who I'd love to get onto the show, Ross, would be Victoria Price. And I know she does interviews. I would love to have her on here. In fact, now is the time to really reach out to her because, we're like 2.5 months, 3 months away from, Halloween. It would be, I'm going to look into that. I hate to make comments like that while we're on the air, but I really think she would be really cool just to, hear about her dad's stories and everything.
Yeah. I would get on that sooner than later. I mean, she may be booked around Halloween, but sure. Yeah. I have another idea for an interview I want to run past you. I won't talk about it on the air right now, but I thought of it the other day and started chuckling. Thought he'd be a great guest, and he might just be up for it. So.
Stay tuned, folks. We got stuff to on.
At the time, you think when these guys are big and stuff, you think, oh, we'll never get him on. But when decades pass, it's like, hey, what's he doing anyway? Maybe you want to come on.
Yeah, and we still appreciate.
Yeah, that. Absolutely, we do.
Which is great. Listen, if your screen is blank, try it. Yeah, sometimes if you refresh the page, that might help, Linda. Sorry you're having trouble. And I know you're on watching this on Facebook. I was going to suggest maybe try YouTube.
Oh, so she might be talking about the comments alongside the video, not underneath. Okay. That's because Matt's out there. we had to bleach the comments. We had to clean it up. Sorry about that.
It's all Matt's fault.
It's all Matt's fault again.
Again.
Matt takes the fall.
Maybe we should do Fall Guy, 1986.
Yeah. Matt and Lee Majors. Well, they both dated Farrah, so.
And Heather Thomas that was on the show, remember?
Oh, yeah, Heather Thomas, right.
What was her character's name? I can't remember.
Oh, like I know. Like I never watched it.
Speaking of actresses, now if you are a fan of Land of the Giants, Deanna Lund was actually one of the robots. She was one of the bikini machines in this movie.
Okay.
There's a crossover.
There you go.
Yeah. So no, and then also, so you got really it would be all roads lead to Irwin Allen with this because that was an Irwin Allen production, and then of course Frankie Avalon was in the movie Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. He sang the title song to Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, and there you go.
There you go.
Annette Funicello had a nice little whatchamacallit cameo in this film. In fact, they covered her up a little bit because she was pregnant.
Right, because originally the idea had been for her to play Susan Hart's part. She was going to play the lead bikini machine. But yeah, she was pregnant, so they just put her in the stocks so you couldn't see her body.
My mom, and always used to hear that she got a lot of comments that her and Annette Funicello could have almost been like sisters.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, it was very sad when she passed. I mean, she died young. She from MS, right? I believe.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I'd forgotten, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy because I remember we were growing, she's part of the Mickey Mouse Club and the beach movies then, which, were before my time. The beach movies were still being shown constantly. And they did show reruns of the Mickey Mouse Club, and then they revived it with a different set of kids. But yeah, it was always kind of a shock to learn, to figure out that these people weren't all that old. It's like, wait, these people from prehistory are now only like, 40?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Jeff, it's a true story. I don't know what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and you came out looking like Harvey Lembeck. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she I remember watching The Musketeers because we used to see, and it seemed like so long because they would run that on Channel 5, and that was like in the 70s they were running the old ones. And the original ones, which was not really that old at the time because it was probably from the 50s.
Right.
And yeah, Annette, she was really pretty. She also went on to do she was doing a lot of the Disney movies. She was on Zorro too. That was, I think, for her, I think it was for maybe her 16th birthday present. Disney, I'm not sure of the exact story, but I think I remember Walt Disney having her be in one of the Zorro episodes. It was kind of like a present. Because Zorro, with Guy Williams was very popular during the the late 50s.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Matt's commenting, they had to do some of the same body cover routines for Brando's bikini scenes. Oh my God,
Matt! They covered him with mangoes.
Warren is saying you had me at Annette Funicello. Hey Warren, thanks for joining us tonight. Yes, Colin, and back to the plot. Here's a little tidbit. There really is no plot.
Well, it's funny because is it the James Bond kind of parody? But you kept waiting for this whole world domination thing to come out.
Never happened. Really, it's all about the money, Ross.
He's just skimming the money.
It's all about the money.
Getting the money for using the bikini machines to get the wealthy to sign over all their assets to him. But I guess the world domination then comes in the second one.
Yeah.
And already in that TV special that was a week later or something like that, he was trying to get secrets out of out of somebody's mind and stuff. So he's just kind of this nefarious evil genius in gold slippers with little elf curl on the shoes.
Ken's got it right. Plot with bikinis. Who needs plots?
I totally.
You know what? You know what? I think there were holes in those plots.
Yeah, but not the bikinis.
We're hitting a low.
Yeah, they knew that's what they were doing. This movie, none of it was an accident. Yeah, it was drive-in fare.
So Ross.
Yeah.
Let's cut to the chase.
All right.
And let's cut to the chase and go for the music.
I thought we were going to go for the chase, which is better than any of the chases in the Indiana Jones movie. Or did I already say that? Remember if I said it or not.
If you hadn't, you just wanted to emphasize that point. Oh shoot! Steven Spielberg's gonna come banging on our door.
Well, at least he'll be doing something. He had nothing to do with that last movie that I could see.
Oh.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah.
Anyway, less Baxter.
Les Baxter. Less is more.
Less is more.
Yeah, he's the composer of this film. He's kind of the AIP house composer, American International Pictures house composer. He did all the Edgar Allan Poe movies. To my knowledge, he did most of them anyway, and he did some of the Beach Party movies, and you see his name a lot on the AIP films. But he started out. He went to the Detroit Conservatory, learned piano there. Went to Pepperdine College in California, and started out in a big band, played saxophone in the big band. But then he kind of broke into the business. He did arrangements for Nat King Cole, including Mona Lisa, a very famous record. And then Ima Sumac. I know we talked about Ima Sumac because we did Secret of the Incas when we were, in better days when we were, optimistic about Indiana Jones. And
which is appropriate for me to show this. Matt just said Ross Amico, official spokesman. So,
but Ima Sumac was a Peruvian singer, and she appeared in Secret of the Incas, and she appeared on many shows and recorded albums. But she had this extraordinary 5-octave range, and he arranged an album that she had done back then, and it was really an early example of what's known as exotica, a kind of record that kind of set an exotic mood, but really it was just total claptrap. They just kind of made up this. It was kind of a, they would draw from, rainforest kind of stuff, or they go to Bali or they go to Africa, and they were just kind of. But it was just, some guy sitting down to write arrangements that were in that style that would make you think of these places. And this is kind of what he did with Ima Sumac, and she sang and did her thing with her extraordinary voice. His first million record seller was for Unchained Melody, which Alex North wrote, and they used it in Ghost much later with Patrick Swayze and Demi. Was it Demi Moore that was in it?
Yes.
Where they do the clay pot scene or what have you, and they did Unchained Melody. Well, that was Les Baxter's first million-selling record. He started a folk group, which I didn't realize, called the Balladeers, and it had a young David Crosby in the group, if you can believe it, from Crosby, Still, Nash and Young.
Sure.
And on radio, he was the music director for Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello. He became the AIP house composer, as I said. Now, it's said there was a Western called The Yellow Tomahawk, which I've never seen. It had Rory Calhoun from 1954. It said that he was called in, that Les Baxter was called in to write the score, and he did it in 3 hours.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious?
Yeah, they gave him $5,000 and he wrote the score in 3 hours.
It was an incentive.
Yeah. It can't be a very good score.
3 hours.
He puts some. I'm gonna have to see this movie. It's called The Yellow Tomahawk.
Oh my goodness! And when you say, it's funny, Rory Calhoun immediately what comes. I mean, and he did an extensive amount of work, and right away I think of Motel Hell.
Motel Hell, yeah. Takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent fritters.
Oh, by the way, Ken Hutchins put up here. He said no, he was credited for Mona Lisa. The arranger was Nelson Riddle.
That's the thing, and I was going to get to that.
Oh, okay.
There's a controversy about Les Baxter, and Ken knows it. Nelson Riddle did not like Les Baxter. Andre Previn was not fond of Les Baxter. There's a certain contingent that believes that Les Baxter was a total fraud, and that everybody else did his work for him, and he kind of took credit for other people. And everybody's dead now, so it's kind of hard to say definitively, because in his papers, supposedly at the University of Arizona, they have, a lot of his original arrangements and they were in his hand anyway. So whether he copied them over from other people, but yeah, Nelson Riddle is really the guy who did Mona Lisa. It's fairly well known that he did the Nat King Cole arrangements. And Andre Previn said he worked on a project with Les Baxter and Nelson Riddle, and the both of them got their portions done, immediately. And Les Baxter was still like working on the first page of whatever he was doing. So, Andre Previn doesn't even know if he could read music. So, and I don't want to definitively bash the guy's career, because I don't know what went on, but I kind of heard some stuff through the grapevine from somebody who would know something that who knows, maybe Les Baxter didn't do everything he said he did.
Wow.
But his name is on all the American International Pictures, and if he did that score for the Tomahawk film, Tomahawk in 3 hours, I don't know, who he would have gotten to write it.
That's crazy.
So he had some musical ability, but who knows? Who knows if he wrote Dr. Goldfoot in the Bikini Machine or something, or if it was Ghosted. It was the ghost in the bikini. The ghost in the invisible bikini wrote it.
He might have done the exactly.
Yeah.
Eva said Love Nelson Riddle Orchestra.
I mean, I've got Les Baxter scores here. He gets put on a lot of comedies like the horror films, the American International. But he did also the Ghost of Mr. Chicken. He was with Don Knotts.
Don Knotts.
Yeah. So he did a lot of comedy scores, or credited with comedy scores too. So that's all for the music. I know we're going on about that.
No, cool. No, thanks, Ross.
He made a good living.
Yeah. What else did he? Eva wrote Andre
Preview. Yeah. Andre Previn, right.
Yeah.
One of Mia Farrow's husbands. I know. She's like I don't know. Yeah, she married so many, or was involved with so many. She's like the alma mater of her time, which is probably an esoteric comment, but alma mater was involved with all the great artists of her time, and Mia Farrow seems to have been involved with a number of great artists.
Maybe we should do one of her movies, like Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's Baby. I'd do Rosemary's Baby. Sure.
Jeff is saying he's going to have nightmares about Indiana Jones 5 now. Thanks, Ross. Hey, Dennis Chevalier's out there from Canada. Welcome, Dennis, and thanks for the birthday wishes, Dennis. Much appreciated. Hope you're doing well. And Matt is saying Rory Calhoun knows. Oh, boy. Let me see. Yeah. So, all in all, yeah, it was a little rough getting through this movie, but
well, I confess I was kind of falling asleep through it, and I had to kind of take a break and watch the last half hour a little while later. But I think that was me more than the film, though.
When you told me that the other night, Ross, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, because I never. Well, sometimes I start falling asleep just because I'm tired. I don't think it was the movie though, because if it were a Sunday afternoon and I were just, having a stupid day, I would have probably watched it and said, fine, whatever.
It's all good. It's a product of its times.
It's a product of its time. It wouldn't go over big in the 21st century.
No, it probably would not.
But I could see them remaking it with kind of an ironic edge. Kind of like take like the Barbie approach or what have you, so that it's no longer, questionable. You know what I mean? It becomes more of an empowerment thing than a sexist thing.
Right.
But I find it very interesting that a woman came up with the concept for the film, though.
Well, there you go. So that's
and of course she didn't get credit though.
No, she
didn't credit in the film, but
that's the saving grace.
Yeah.
Hey, Warren, tell them hi. Tell them I'm glad they're out there watching, and tell them hello. And please tell me their names again so I can give them shout outs too. And Don is saying he fell asleep and he rewatched this movie this morning. So there you go. Yeah, I'll confess, Ross. I actually watched this movie today.
Did you fall asleep?
Well, actually, I watched part of it late. Well, depends on how you look at it. Early today. It was early in the morning when I woke up, and then it was one of those things, where I was watching it on the phone. Yeah. So it's yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to get. There's a beer called Sour Bikini beer, and I was trying to get a hold of some Sour Bikini for the show, but I couldn't get a hold of it. So I was
okay. It's all good.
I was disappointed. But if anybody can get a hold of any of that, you got to let me know how it is. I mean, how can you go wrong with a name like that?
No, and I was, it was only appropriate. It's been a hot summer, and you know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Claudia's saying, thanks for sending me the link, Ross. It was very interesting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, if you didn't have to pay for it, it was even better. Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Hey,
Sometimes
Zach
you
and
can find
Chloe,
this thing.
thanks
Yeah.
for being out there with Warren and tuning in. And
You've
if
seen
you
Dr.
haven't
Gold.
seen Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine, well, yeah. If you've been watching, I think we pretty much summed it up. So yeah, that says it all.
Mm,
But thanks
yeah.
for tuning in tonight. And they are actually in Canada. So
Mm. Now, before we go off tonight, at some point, I do have a birthday image to share. So I don't know if you'll do shout outs, and then we'll come
do
back.
you want me to do the shout outs first,
I,
Ross?
I do, I'm not pushing you, but we've got a birthday image to celebrate.
Okay. It's kind of a tradition.
I don't want people just shutting off and saying, all right, they've done all they're going to do tonight.
Okay.
There are no more yucks left. They had all their big laughs already. Stick around for the grand finale.
Be afraid. Be very afraid. The closest thing to the fly. All right, I'll tell you what. I'll do the shout outs and then we'll come back to that then.
Come back for the birthday image in
Yeah.
celebration of Roy's birthday.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, we'll play it safe.
If we can
So
figure
anyway.
it out.
And remember, bringing you creative awareness through our shout outs.
Good branding, Roy.
Good branding. Oh, you know what? Before I even do that though, I wanted to go back. One thing I did want to say is got to give a nod to this. We've been doing this segment. That's the way it was. Is a tribute to Walter Cronkite. It's not exactly. I mean, today's the 21st. Today's actually would have been my grandmother's birthday. So my grandma, my mom's mom, she would have been 104 today, but she passed 15 years ago. No, I'm sorry. She would have been 105. Excuse me.
So she lived at 90. Is that what you're saying?
She passed away at 89, and that year was in 80. And what was it? In 2008. That's crazy. Time is just flying. But anyway, with that, the first moon landing, huge, took place on July 20th of 1969. So that was a huge thing for us back in the day. I wish I could say I have a recollection of that, Ross. I mean, you and I would have been 3.
Yeah, I do have a recollection of it, actually, though.
Do you really?
Yeah, which is funny because people say, what was your earliest memory? And I can never think of an earliest memory, but I do remember the moon landing.
That's really cool. I remember watching that stuff in the 1970s, when everything was going on. But it all tied into just the connection to science fiction and to going to the moon and everything that went with that. So always found that really, really cool.
I was probably I was of course I was very young, but my mom was making a fuss about it. So
no, that's great that you remember that. But very cool. Thanks, Warren. Tell them thank you too. Much appreciated. Deborah is saying, Ross, you can find that beer at Norton's.
Wait, Norton's Cork and Bottle? Are they still around?
Yeah, they are actually.
Are they on that main drag in Peaburg, or are they ripped down? I didn't see them there. Are they still there?
No, they're the
next
liquor store
to the Peak Inn?
No, you know what? The liquor store is still there. I'm not sure if that one is Norton's Cork and Bottle. And there's a Norton's Cork and Bottle that's on South Main Street.
All right.
Phillipsburg. So, yeah, she's saying
all
that's
right. So we should all convene for some sour bikini.
There you go.
Thanks for the tip.
Thanks, Deborah. Okay, so I'm going to go to the shout-outs. Want to give a shout-out to Mike and Mary Beth, Sci-Fi Distilled. They are on Wednesday nights discussing movies and television of the 80s, 90s, and beyond. They will be back next Wednesday, July 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. They have not decided on what they are going to be talking about, so stay tuned. You can tune in on their Facebook page, and they usually post on Monday nights, if not sooner. So just check their Facebook page out. And again, that's Sci-Fi Distilled with Mike and Mary Beth. Big shout out to the Country Gate Playhouse. Country Gate is back, and the season is here for 2023, and Snoopy has arrived. Snoopy is going to be from July 29th to August 6th. You can find out information in regards to the show times and tickets if you are in the Belvedere area. I would highly suggest you check it out. The productions there are incredible. And you can go to their website, which is www.countrygate.org. Also, you can visit our friend Bill out there, Bill Scorado. His website is www.billscorado.com for updates. And again, it's going to be from July 29th, which is going to be this coming Saturday, through August 6th. So definitely check them out. And this is the second show of the 2023 season. Want to give Captain Phil a shout out. Captain Phil's Planet. Captain Phil is on WUSB 90.1 FM, Stony Brook, New York. The captain's schedule is on alternating Thursdays from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And he is also on Friday nights from 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Check out the captain. Also, want to give a shout out to Studio One Thrift. This is for Martha and Snow. They have been doing this for over a year now. And they offer quality, stylish, and affordable clothing for men and women. You can also receive styling tips and information updates. All you need to do is go to their website to subscribe. Their website is www.studioonethrift.net. And again, be sure to subscribe to get the informational on it. They actually have a physical location that is in the process of being made. They can service internationally, I believe, in regards to their shipping. So again, check out their site. Now, I want to give a shout out to Trek Condoroga. Trek Condoroga 2023 is here. Trek Condoroga actually started back in 2015, and I've actually been going to these actually since the very first one, and it's been very, very cool. Now, this is where the original series Star Trek set tour is actually at. This is a creation of James Cawley. And right now, the dates are for Trek Condoroga are August 18th, 19th, and 20th. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can go to the website for information. It is www.startrektour.com. Now, there is a strike going on. The writer's strike is in effect. So there are some limitations on what can be discussed. If you go to the website, there's going to be information about that. And this is not only for Trek Condoroga. This is affecting all conventions. So just be aware of it. But hopefully this strike will be over sooner than later. But anyway, you're going to have some interesting guests there. Jonathan Frakes, Brent Spiner, John Delancey, and also Ed Spellers. And Ed Spellers, if you have been watching Picard Season 3, he's a part of that crew. So definitely Trek Condoroga 2023 is coming up. And again, it's going to be August 18th, 19th, and 20th. Also, want to give a shout out to the Long Island Doctor Who convention. That is also taking place Friday, August 18th, 19th through the 20th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, this is going to be the 60th anniversary for Doctor Who, which originated back in 1963. One of the updates I did want to mention, though, is Catherine Schell is not going to be there. I had mentioned on the show that she was going to be attending, which was the main reason I was very much looking forward to going. Like I said, I have not missed a Trek Condoroga event, but with Catherine Schell being at the event, I was all set to go. But unfortunately, things come up as we know, and she's not going to be there. But they do have a fantastic lineup. You can go to their website, which is www.longislanddoctorwho.com for information in regards to the convention. So it's only a few weeks away. And also, I want to give a shout out to our friend out there who is Jeffrey Morris. Jeffrey has been working on the project, which is the Eagle documentary for Space 1999. And this is a really exciting documentary, and that is in production. Nothing like this has ever been done in regards to 1999, especially for the Eagle. And the focus is the Eagle, which is, as Space 1999 fans know, is the iconic ship from that series. So if you have the opportunity, check out... if you go to send in an email where Jeffrey is asking for submissions. And what it is the email address is eagledocumentary at gmail.com. And what we'd like to do is, if you can, give some information about when you first discovered the Eagle from Space 1999, your thoughts about it, why you liked it so much. And if you do happen to have a picture, especially if a picture of when you were a kid, that you could upload and send to that email. And there's going to be a raffle for a Mattel Eagle. If you remember back in the day, 1976, that Mattel Eagle was a wonderful Christmas present that a lot of us got. And Jeffrey is actually going to be not auctioning. He's actually going to be doing a giveaway. One person will be selected from these email submissions, and he's going to sign it, so that could be yours. And I have to say too, I've seen pictures of the Eagle that he has, and it is in really good condition considering it is 47 years old. I mean, he's taken very good care of it. So he's very passionate about this project with the documentary. There's going to be a lot of cool things going on. He's traveling around the entire world. He's getting interviews that are taking place with a lot of people. There's going to be a lot more details about this coming up, and I will be having him on the show in the very near future. And it's going to be very informative to hear about this whole process. So definitely wanted to put that information out there in regards to it. And lastly, Ross, if you can let everybody know what you've got going on and where they can tune into you.
All right. Well, as it says here, you should visit my Facebook page if you're at all interested, because I don't want to go into everything. You know, every week I say I'm not going to talk about this, and then I talk for 10 minutes. Oh, stay tuned. But my shows are currently heard in syndication. Picture Perfect's the film music show, and The Lost Chord is the unusual and neglected classical repertoire. Unfortunately, the primary station on which you can hear these things now is on the West Coast. You can stream them, but the film music show is basically opposite this show. It's now on Friday nights, so it's at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Picture Perfect is on KWAX, which is KWAX. Think like a duck, quacks. And Google it if you want, and you can find the station to stream it there. Otherwise, as I said, you can check out my Facebook page, and just there's a link there. But this weekend, I did tonight film scores based on pictures that were inspired by the legends of King Arthur. And for no real reason, tomorrow night on The Lost Chord, I'm doing the same thing. American composers, 2 American romantics who were inspired by the legends of King Arthur. And in fact, I called the show Kinetic Yankees in King Arthur's Court. And they are peripatetic American romantics who wrote music inspired by the legends of King Arthur. There's Excalibur by Lewis Kern, who was a composer who was born in New Jersey, and also kind of a Straussian tone poem called Le Roi Arthur, King Arthur, by George Templeton Strong. So both of those pieces will be presented tomorrow night on The Lost Chord, which will be at 8 o'clock. No, I think I have these backwards. I should know these things here. I'm drinking. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, I think. It's 8 o'clock for the film music show. So that's on right now. If you go on right now to the film music show, you'll be able to hear the end of it at KWAX. Tomorrow night it's at 7 o'clock for The Lost Chord. Go to my Facebook page. Whenever you see KWAX, you'll be able to get the information there. And see, I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I wasted 10 minutes. So shows are in syndication, but out of Eugene, Oregon right now. So that's enough of that. Let's just cut the cord on this, Roy. My Facebook page is sponsored Ross Amico. I don't know if it's right there on the slide.
No, perfect. So make sure to go to Classic Ross Amico for updates in regard to your show.
Yeah.
The shows that you're doing. No, and I think that's great, Ross, that it's being syndicated and folks can tune in. So especially after everything that you went through. So it's good to hear that things are back.
Yeah. And there's some other things on the fire, but I don't, nothing has landed yet, but there are other things that are maybe happening.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
And with that, folks, and actually I have a date up there. Ignore the date. The date is false. So what I'm going to say is, in regards to our next show, which will be episode 199, stay tuned. I'm not sure exactly what the date of that show will be, and I'm not sure what we will be discussing. So Ross has got some stuff going on. I got some stuff going on. We wanted to get this show in for tonight, but it is the summer, so and it's turning out to be a busy summer. So there's going to be definitely stuff down the pike. Episode 200 is coming up, so we want to do something really big for that, and I don't want to just slap that together. So we may actually do like an episode 199A, 199B, 199C.
Is that how you're going to delay?
Maybe we'll go through the whole alphabet, Ross.
Yeah,
We'll do
episode 200, the Flesh Eaters. Double feature. Yeah, big double feature with the Flesh Eaters and Goliath meets the vampires. Or Goliath and the vampires. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, stay tuned. And actually, I think I may have thrown this out there before. If you have any suggestions that you would like, some things that you'd like to see for our 200th episode, let us know. I'm not saying we're going to listen to them, but, but
something other than Orca.
Yeah, instead of Orca, and Leslie's not out there tonight.
Oh,
but no, we're gonna work on it, and we are going to get there. But I want to make sure it's special. So anyway, with that said, if you have anything that you'd like us to do or like to see, let us know. But we will be updating you shortly in regards to our next episode. But just wanted to put that out there. All right. So
are you ready for your birthday, Art?
Uh-oh. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
We'll see if we can figure out how to do it, though, because this is the first time we're doing it on StreamYard. Like, we knew how to do this on Zoom, which meant it only took me 20 minutes to do it. I've never done it on StreamYard, so it could be 40.
Oh, before you do that, Ross,
yeah.
I just want to see some of the comments that came through.
Sure.
Thanks, Bill. Appreciate your sentiments. And in regards to that, tonight's show. And then Linda posted, I wanted to catch, so she wrote a lot. I was 8 and we were at a lake where we never had a TV or a phone. They brought a TV. Oh, she's talking about the moon landing. They brought a TV specially that time to watch the moon landing. We were kids just playing outside, but the adults kept calling us in to have a look, but nothing was happening. So we would go back out to play, lots of laughs. It got kind of irritating that it was a long, drawn-out affair to a kid's mind. Eventually we saw it, and I'm glad we did. Thanks for sharing, Linda. Very cool. And thank you too, Eva. Wishing you a great weekend. And much appreciated, Christian. And thank you, Jeff. And LLA.
What did he say about Indy?
What was that?
He said something about Indy. It flashed by.
Oh, yes, to go see
Indy. There you go. Yeah, it's reverse psychology.
There we go. All right. All right. Here we go. All right, Ross, give it a shot.
Can we try it here and see what happens here? So I share the screen here, and then we.
Then you got to do this.
And then I did something here. Was it this I did? And then I do something else. Where is it here? Where was it? Was it up here? Did I lose it? Is this it? Wait. Is it here? Did I do this?
Almost there.
Oh, yeah. How did I do this? Oh, here it is. All right. So this. Wait, how do I do this? I must have to share this. And then I do this. There you go. Can you see it?
It's really small.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What do I do? Can you see it?
Okay, I see Roy with the Sunday. Roy Rader's birthday Sunday.
Can you see it? Should I send it to you?
Yeah, why don't you send it to me and then I'll blow it up.
All right. So it's I'll send it to your email then.
No, just send it to me through Facebook Messenger.
All right. So what do I do with that here? Let's see. So we'll
just copy it.
Reduce that.
Click on the image and copy it. Just Control-C it and then send it through Messenger, and then I'll capture it.
All right. We got to do this here. It's not worth it. Can you see what I'm doing now? Is this coming through?
Let me see.
You can't see. Can you see what I'm doing on this side?
No, I can't.
Good. It's secret.
It's a secret. I got a secret.
All right, I'm sending it to you, Roy. Hang on there.
Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, hang on. It's coming.
Almost there.
All right. Coming. There we go. I'm sending it now. Got it?
I got it.
You're going to love it.
All right. All right, here we go.
It was so smooth. No, everybody's gone. There you go. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Ross.
Roy loves his Sundays.
I love my Sundays. My Sundays from Jimmy's.
And you know what? 30. That's better than anything you're going to see in Dial of Destiny.
Right up to the end credits, huh, Ross? Here come the suits, Ross. I see them coming down the hill as we speak.
All right. Anyway.
That was fun. Well, thank you for the photo for the birthday.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's appropriate because I do love my Sundays.
You don't look too bad in a fedora.
Lou says, always great show, Indiana Jones and the Dial rules. Raiders of the Lost Sunday. Linda's just laughing. And on the bombshell, this
I nuked the fridge.
You nuked the fridge. Oh, man. Oh, goodness. Anyway, it turned out to be a fun show after all. Folks, wishing you a wonderful weekend. Hope you have a great week ahead as well. Like I said, we will be posting what we'll be doing. Stay safe out there and take care. And as we always like to say, live long and prosper.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. Take care.
Take care.